Riichi Mahjong. To many, a Yakuza player's worst nightmare. To me, a wonderful game of wits, probability, and self-expression. I really like this game, and I think it is super underrated and would love to see more people playing it. The problem? Mahjong is super complicated and hard to pick up, with so many rules and niche cases and what is even happening on my screen anymore. Luckily, the core basics of Mahjong are easy to understand, and you can still have fun playing the game online even if you don't know most of the rules. So today, I'm joined by two of my friends who know very little about the game, in hopes of teaching them, as well as you, the basics of how to play the beautiful game of Riichi Mahjong, where joy is a myth and dreams go to die. Here are the main things we're going to talk about today. First, the different tiles. Second, how to build a hand. Third, what it means to call tiles. And finally, some beginner yaku. Starting off, what are the tiles? We have 34 different tiles. We have 3 main suits, the character suit, the circle suit, and the bamboo suit. We also have our honors in our winds, east, south, west, north, and our dragons, white, green, and red.
So my man, pin, and soul, those are my ace, my clubs, my hearts, my diamonds.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say the exact same thing.
And is that the same thing for wind and dragons?
No, these are your main suits. These are, instead of being suits, it's as if the face cards didn't have any suits, and they're your face cards.
Are they like, so they have no suits, or they're any suits?
They have no suit.
Okay.
Now, your main suits are numbered 1 through 9. In total, there are 4 copies of each tile in a game for a total of 136 tiles. This is important because if you happen to see 4 tiles on the board of the same tile, you know that that's all of those tiles in that game. But a few things to note. First, 4 copies of each tile in the game. Second, the honor tiles, which are the winds and the dragons, are harder to use for a reason I'll get into shortly. Next, how to play the game. You start off with a hand of 13 tiles, and your goal is to get a hand consisting of 4 sets of 3 and a pair. A set of 3 can either be a sequence or a triplet. A sequence is 3 consecutive tiles all in the same suit. If we look at our winning hand on the bottom, a sequence is this 1, 2, 3 of characters, or this 5, 6, 7 of bamboo.
Okay.
But if we have like this 2, 3, 4, that's not a sequence because they're not in the same suit.
So the consecutive tiles in a sequence, do they need to be like the same suit?
Yes.
Oh!
Remember earlier I said that your honor tiles are harder to use?
Yeah.
The reason for this is because they cannot be used in sequences, because they don't have a numerical value.
Ooh, that's true.
Which means they can only be used for pairs and triplets. Triplets are 3 of the exact same tile, such as these 4 of circles or these east winds, and a pair is 2 of the same tile, like the 2 south winds.
So this seemed pretty helpful for getting pairs, but not so much for sequences, as you're limited in options.
Mm-hmm.
But you're taking less of a risk by taking them on for the pair.
I think what you're saying is honor tiles, if you keep one, if you draw a second of that same honor tile, you have a pair. That is true for the other tiles as well. So the other tiles are just more versatile than the honor tiles.
So just speaking for you, would you just try not to use honor tiles at all?
In this hand, I drew the 8 of circles. I discarded a south wind. This is an example turn. On your turn, you draw a tile, and you discard a tile. The next player, they draw, they discard. The next player, they draw, they discard, and so on.
Oh, okay, wait, this seems like so familiar to a game I already know.
What game?
Like every other game, you draw, you
Is
discard.
This next slide is very mean. Throughout this PowerPoint, I have little, like, quiz questions to test your understanding.
Okay.
This is by far the hardest of all of them.
I got it.
We got this. We can lock in, bro.
Okay.
Lock in.
Close this. Which tile does the hand need for winning?
Okay, so I see the 3 triplet of the 1 bamboo, so that's 1 triplet.
Okay.
I see 7, 8, 9 as a circle, so that's 2. I see a 6, 5, 4, so that's another 1. So I would need the A because then I can get the 2 circles, and that would be a pair. That's my 3 with the 2.
Alright, now my guess.
Okay, hang on. Let's say we add the 2 of circles to this hand. In that case, we would have a pair of the 2 of circles, so those are already accounted for. We would have a 7, 8, 9, We would have a triplet of the 1 of bamboos. We would have a 3, 4, 5, 6, which would count for 1 of our
This
sequences.
is when your mom's helping you with your math homework and she's politely telling you, you're wrong.
If we add the 2 of circles for our pair, our 1 of circles isn't doing anything, our 2 of bamboo isn't doing anything, and either our 3 or our 6 of circles isn't doing anything.
Wait,
Or possibly the 9 as well.
wait, do all the tiles in your hand need to count for something?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, in that case, it's a 3, right?
And why?
Well, because same logic with the circles, but then you use this because then also you're using the 2. Because the east isn't, that's not really being used for anything.
Okay.
And yes, and you have to use a 2, so the only logical explanation is 3.
Okay, Sam, would you like to explain a little bit further?
So my answer was also B. You have a sequence of circles 1, 2, 3, the sequence of circles 4, 5, 6, sequence of circles 7, 8, 9. You have a pair of 2 flamingos, and you have a final sequence of 1, 2, 3 bamboo.
Exactly. A lot of people watching, their first thought might have been the 2 of bamboo, because the 2 of bamboo would have been their pair. They have a triplet of the 1 of bamboo, and they have the 3 sequences of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of circles. In this situation, the 2 of bamboo is also a valid tile for winning. Let's talk about taking tiles from other players.
Oh, this is pawn. I said this is.
It is ill-advised to do them when you're first starting out.
What if I just want to take someone's tile for the fun of it?
That is also an option. Like, if you're playing online in Mahjong Soul and you see the funny pawn button come up, you are free to click the funny pawn button. Yeah. Before we talk about pawn, first we have chi. And these 2 slides, PowerPoint did not give me design ideas. So we're just left with this.
Photoshop.
Okay.
Okay.
I've tried JetGPT.
Okay. So, chi. Let's say I have in my hand a 4 and 5 of bamboo. To finish that sequence, I need either a 3 or a 6 of bamboo. Specifically, the person to my left discards the 6 of bamboo. I can call chi, reveal the 4 and 5 of bamboo in my hand, and take the 6 of bamboo they just discarded, lay all 3 tiles to the side, and have one of my groups of 3 complete.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's cool.
So a few things to note. First, you can only take the tile as it's actively being discarded. Once the next person makes their draw, any discarded tiles are dead from play.
Oh, so you gotta be fast.
Yes.
Okay.
Second, you can only take the tile if it actively finishes the sequence. So if you have a 5 of bamboo in your hand and the person discards the 4 of bamboo, you can't take that 4 of bamboo in hopes of later getting the 6. It has to actively complete that sequence. This is the third point. You can only call chi if the person to your left discards the tile. And finally, once you call chi, the tiles that make up the sequence you call chi for, so in this example, that 4, 5, and 6, it will always be in that sequence. They cannot be used for anything else. You cannot discard them. They are permanently in that sequence in your hand for the rest of that round. Pawn is the same thing as chi with 2 key differences. First, pawn is for triplets instead of sequences.
Okay.
Second, you can call pawn from anybody, not just the person to your left.
Oh. Getting 3 of the same kind, because there's only 4 copies of each, that's a lot more difficult than getting a sequence, because your odds are literally doubled.
That's exactly correct. You have 8 tiles that you can get, compared to only 2 tiles you
Thank
can
you.
get. You're welcome, but yes, you are 100% correct.
So smart. You hear that? You call me correct.
Okay, so which of the following hands can chi the 6 of bamboo?
Cheese?
I know.
Assuming-
Pick me. I know.
Okay, go ahead.
Technically only
A,
No,
because
technically only A,
she
'cause
is
they
a
have-
sequence.
That's right, it goes in the square
God,
hole.
I'm so good at this.
Which of the following can pawn the west wind?
Pawn? It doesn't have to be the triplets, so it'd be those C.
Very good.
Einzig!
Now that we know about taking tiles from other players, now let's talk about winning the game. Let's start with sumo. Sumo is drawing the winning tile yourself. I have a sequence of the 1, 2, 3 of characters. I have a sequence of the 5, 6, 7 of characters. I have a pair of the 1 of circles. I have a sequence of the 7, 8, 9 of bamboo. I have a leftover 2 and 4 of bamboo, waiting for a 3 of bamboo to finish that sequence. I happen to draw the 3 of bamboo, and therefore I can declare sumo and win the round. And whenever you win the round via sumo, you take points from everyone else at the table. Ron is when you win off of another player's discard. Here, I have a 6, 7, 8 of characters. I have a pair of the 7 of circles. I called Chi to finish a 3, 4, 5 of character sequence. And I called Pawn to finish a triplet of the red dragons. I have a leftover 4 and 5 of bamboo, waiting for a 3 or a 6 of bamboo to win. The person to my right discards the 3 of bamboo, and therefore I can declare Ron and win the round. Whenever you declare Ron, the person you Ron off of pays the full value instead of it being split amongst everyone at the table.
Ah, so you specifically say a solid you to the person to your left, okay.
Now, some people watching might be thinking to themselves, I thought you said you could only win or only take a tile to finish a sequence if the person to your left discarded the tile to finish that sequence.
Yeah, he did say that.
Here's the thing. If it's the last tile that you need in order to finish your hand, you can take it from anybody regardless of what it finishes. It can even finish your pair.
Okay, so regardless of the rotation, even if it's a sequence, a triplet, a pair, you can call Ron regardless of where it is on the table, whether left, right, across. It just ends the game. Give me that.
Yes, but it has to be, again, as the tile is being discarded. In my opinion, Yaku is the biggest barrier to entry with this game. Remember when I said in order to win you need 4 groups of 3 and a pair?
Yeah.
That was only half the story. You also need a valid Yaku in order to win.
Wait, is a Yaku like some Konami code of tiles?
Yaku, you can think of it something similar to like a straight or a full house from poker. It's something similar. Now, the reason why I say this is the biggest barrier to entry is here is the list of all valid Yaku in Mahjong Soul.
Good. Is that the Mountain Dew at dawn?
Like, half of these I haven't actually seen in any of my games. The common ones that would be good to know are these, at least in my opinion. I would say there are only 8 of them that will come up, like, relatively frequently enough to where when you're first learning the game they would be good to know, and it's these 8. Most of them, like, slightly more than half of them, is just in case these situations arise, you'd know what to do in them. Out of these, there's only 3 of them that I would say you really need to know in order to play the game. They are Riichi, All Simples, and Yaku High. I'm going to go in depth in all of these 3, one at a time. Starting off, we have arguably the most important Yaku in this game, Riichi. Riichi does a lot of things. You don't really need to know much right now. The main thing I will say is you're not allowed to call Riichi if you've called Chi or Pawn. But if you have not called Chi or Pawn, and you are 1 tile away from winning, you can declare Riichi, which is betting 1,000 points on yourself, saying that I'm going to win the round, like, I'm 1 tile away, what are you going to do about it? Essentially, you can think of declaring Riichi as declaring Uno. Whenever you call Riichi, whenever it comes to your turn, you draw your tile. If it's not the tile you need to win, you have to discard that tile you just drew. Even if you don't want to, even if you really want to keep it, if it's not one of your winning tiles, you have to discard it. Whenever you do win, it would be nice to have other Yaku because the way scoring works is the more Yaku you have, or the more each Yaku is worth, it all gets combined, it all stacks on top of each other. So if you have Riichi and a bunch of other things, you get a lot more points. But if you only have Riichi, you are still allowed to win the round off of that. The second Yaku we're talking about is All Simples. All tiles in your hand are numbered 2 through 8, and that's it. No 1s, no 9s, no wins, no dragons. Just a note for terminology later on, 1s and 9s are considered terminals, and your wins and dragons are honors. Now, something to note about All Simples, with Riichi, you are not allowed to call Chi and Pawn. With All Simples, you are allowed to call Chi and Pawn.
So for All Simples, I still have to get like the 3 by 3 with the pair.
Yeah, you still need the valid shape of 4 groups of 3 and a pair. The third Yaku we're going to cover is Yaku High. Yaku High comes in one of 3 different flavors. First is a triplet of any of the dragons is a Yaku.
Is the anime girl prevalent to the topic of discussion?
Second, whenever you play a game of Mahjong, you will usually be in one of 2 rounds, the East round or the South round. A triplet of the wind matching the round wind is a Yaku. And now, the third flavor of Yakuhai. Everyone at the table is given a seat east, south, west, or north. This will change throughout the game. A triplet of the wind matching your seat is a Yaku.
What happens if I'm the west seat and it's west round?
I was just about to explain that.
Okay.
If your seat and your round is the same, a triplet of it counts as both. So you would get credit for both of them. Yippee! Now for some quiz questions.
Oh, fuck.
If you were to go for the Yaku all simples, which tile would you want to discard?
Oh,
Let's go back to the all simple slide. The
I
all simple
had it.
slide, no ones, no nines.
oh,
Which of the following triplets is a Yaku? I know it says sequences, these are triplets. It's not a sequence. Which of these Yeah, that's an easy one.
We're better than
so
you.
good. Yeah, we're better.
Now, the reason why the E is red, it's not because it marks you as east. It's because it marks who the dealer is. We have 5 more Yaku to go over really quickly if you want to.
7 pairs.
Yep.
Kind of self-explanatory. Get 7 pairs.
Yep.
All triplets. Get all triplets, as well as a pair.
Next, we have the half flush and the full flush. Both of them, if you have tiles that are in one of the 3 main suits, all of them are from the same suit. The difference between a half flush and a full flush is that a half flush uses honor tiles. A full flush does not use honor tiles. And finally, we get to what we've all been waiting for, 13 Orphans.
Yeah!
Orphans.
13 Orphans is a copy of the 1 of characters and 9 of characters, a copy of the 1 of circles and 9 of circles, a copy of the 1 of bamboo, 9 of bamboo, a copy of each of the east, south, west, north winds, a copy of the white, green, and red dragons, and 1 extra of any of those 13. If at the very start of the game you happen to see a gray button pop up that says draw, that's your cue to go for this. That means you have at least 9 of these in your starting hand. And with that, that is it for this PowerPoint. You are now ready to play your first game of Riichi Mahjong online.
You hear that, Sam? We're ready.
Okay, now we're going to start our tutorial game, our practice game. So starting off, we are in the north seat. It is the east round. Let's take a look at our hand right now. We have already completed a 3-4-5 sequence. We have a pair of the 3 of bamboo. We now just drew an 8, so we would have an 8 and 9 of characters waiting on a 7 of characters to finish that sequence.
So,
What do we want to discard here?
10 seconds later.
honestly, probably one of the circles. Probably like the
Probably
one.
the 1. Yeah.
The
probably
1 of circles?
The 1 or the.
And you gotta help us out with this, too.
Okay, given what I've told you today, the 1 of circles, perfectly fine discard. I'm happy with it.
So we probably want to keep the 9 and the 8, because we could get another 9. We could get another 8.
So here, what would we want to discard?
Alright, we got 8.
Okay.
We got our 8 that we're looking for, so let's
Yes, we
it
get rid
back
of
in
the
there,
5,
get rid of the
right?
5.
Okay, we can get rid of the 5. For future reference, if we keep that 5, it's... Here, I'm trying to
got
think
2
what I
other
would
duos.
what I would discard
'Cause
here.
I'm also trying not to forget about the 8 and the 9 and the 9.
Okay, so what's our discard?
I say 3 of bamboo.
I concur.
See? Yeah.
Holy.
Okay, important question. Do we pawn this?
What is it?
9, so you get
Oh,
3,
absolutely. Yeah, because
Yes.
it'll have
more
our
points.
sequence.
More points.
Yeah, right?
It's a gamble, but we always take the gamble.
It's a gamble for what?
Uh,
Here's a very important question to ask, especially when starting out.
we will also
If-
isolate our-
If we want to call pawn here, what is our Yaku going to be? Because we also need a Yaku.
What's the Yaku again?
And if we call pawn here, I do not see an easy way to get another Yaku.
So we skip. Reach.
And when you look at that, we see the Riichi button. Here, this means we can declare Uno, discard this 9 of characters, and we are waiting on the 4 of bamboo to win the game. Oh my.
Did we just win?
Yeah, the 9 might not
The
be.
9 of man doesn't seem very useful.
Was that what you would do?
I would discard the South because even if the 9 of characters, it...
Yep.
Never
See,
mind.
That's why you
Yep.
don't skip
Never
it.
mind.
That's
Don't
why.
have faith in the cards, Aiden.
You know what?
Aiden, oh my god.
Just hit it. Just hit it. Just
Yeah,
hit it. Just
Aiden.
hit it.
I hate it here. Okay,
And we
again.
win. We get rid of the green dragon, right?
There... Do you want a pawn?
What is that?
Yeah, that's the east one. Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
we're in east
absolutely.
Okay,
rounds,
we can pawn.
definitely. That'd be our Yaku.
Okay, and what did we discard? Ooh, that's a good draw.
8, or is that a 7?
That's a
Seven,
7.
yeah,
That is a
Gives
great
us our
draw.
sequence of bamboo. We don't need the 5 anymore, though.
Yeah.
We don't need the 5? This 5?
I believe so.
Wait, no.
Chi was
Ooh,
chi for it.
interesting.
I can't see
An
that
8.
far.
That's
I
an
already
8
have
of
glasses
bamboo.
and I'm
That's an
drunk.
8 of bamboo. So
8 of
if we
bamboo.
do called Chi with that 8 of bamboo, that would be for the 6, 7, 8. We would have our remaining 5 and 8 in our hand. 1 of circles.
Circles.
We should just get rid of that.
We don't.
We don't have one.
Yeah, we get rid of this. We don't want it. 3 of characters. Do
Oh,
we
we-
Chi this
Yeah,
one?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. We need that sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And what is our discard?
Our discard. Alright, let's take a look.
Oh my.
Is that a
That is a
5?
great draw. That's a 5 of bamboo.
Oh, shit.
This puts us in Tenpai.
Yeah.
Waiting for an 8 of circles to finish our hand. If you want, we can close the game out, otherwise I can just play myself and finish the game. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you were able to learn some things and even start playing the game yourself. Feel free to leave any questions you may have in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Until next time, God bless you all. Bye-bye.